Hello and welcome to Raw Sports Takes. Today is December 11, 2024. It is Wednesday. I usually record these episodes of my NFL recap around week 14. NFL recap. A lot of things happened this week on the NFL. I'm going to go into details. I usually like to record Tuesdays, but as you know, it's you guys know with my schedule as a firefighter and as a paramedic, it's 24 hours and I work real weird dates. Sometimes I work on Tuesday, some Wednesday, and yesterday I worked. So that's why we're recording today, which is Wednesday, which is good because in a way, a lot of things happen. Also, since yesterday, Tuesday, there was a lot of news also. So that's good to know. A lot of things happen in the NFL week that I like to see. A lot of things happen pretty much the way I thought they were going to happen. College football was a Saturday. That was crazy. Texas is not back yet. I don't think so. That was a terrible game by Texas against Georgia. Well, we'll go more into details a little bit more. But first, as always, I like to start with the Spurs. I was at that game. They played, who was it, New Orleans. That was a game where Chris Paul in the first quarter, after he threw it into, first or second quarter, it was the first half for sure, he threw it into Wembanyama, and Wembanyama hit that three-pointer, which ended up moving him from third place all time in assists to second place behind the great John Stockton. So that puts he pretty much got a timeout after that, and they did like a big old standing ovation there at the Frost Center at the arena. I was there for that. I was nice to see. It was good to see that game, just to see Chris Paul and appreciate Chris Paul. And you forget how great Chris Paul really is, just for the simple reason that he's never won anything. He's been unfortunate. He's got injuries throughout his career. You also have with that trade where he was going to go to Los Angeles and team up with Kobe Bryant, but that got traded there by the commissioner. You also had the Clippers. The Clippers probably were the most exciting time when he was there. It just didn't happen. It didn't happen with Blake Griffin, with Andrew Jordan. Jordan just couldn't. The center there could not make it happen. It was just. He's just had, in my opinion, he's just had bad luck. He's had really bad luck with injuries. He went toe-to-toe pretty much with the Golden State Warriors there for a little bit when he was with the Houston Rockets, him and James Harden. I didn't think that was going to work out, but it worked out for him. And they ended up going there. James Harden unfortunately got injured. Chris Paul also got injured that year. I think that was Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals there where he hurt his thigh. So that was unfortunate for him just to see him with that bad luck. But every single team he's ever gone to, he's made them better. The biggest benefit that I believe the Thunder have had over the last 2-3 years has been that Chris Paul was there for a year playing for them. And he actually made them competitive and got them above, I think, 20 games above before the previous year. So if you're going to keep that in perspective, then you believe the Spurs should win at least 40 games this year. But he's been a proven winner everywhere he goes. Everywhere he goes, he improves the team and he makes them better just through leadership and just running the point. A perfect example was the last few games where the Spurs, if they choked away, what was it like? They were up by 11, I believe, and New Orleans went on a 13-0 run there in the fourth quarter, and they were up by 2 with like 54 seconds left in the game, and that's pretty much when Wembanyama said, just give me the damn ball, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And he shot that three-pointer, and they put him up by 1. And then he was the defender that you needed him to be underneath the court. And DeJounte Murray could not hit that layup. So he got the rebound, got fouled, hit 2 free throws. Wembanyama hit 2 free throws. Then they went back at him again, could not get the shot. He ended up getting the rebound again, got fouled again. He shot the other one. So he had, by himself, had a 7-0 run there at the end with 54 seconds left. So he scored 7 points in technically 54 seconds and won the game. So that's exciting. Like it's before, the old Spurs of last year or 2 years ago would have choked right there on that spot. They would have lost the game, plain and simple. And there's been a lot of those examples lately. And that has to do a lot with the leadership of Chris Paul. If you ever go to the games, like I said, I was at the last game and I was watching it, and when I was watching him coach, he was pretty much coaching there on the court and telling players where to go, what to look for. So it's exciting. Like I said before, I like to see the Spurs, and it's good to see Wembanyama back. They're best defensively when Jeremy Sohan's back. I believe this was his second or third game back. but offensively they do suffer quite a bit on offense when Jeremy Sohan is there, because Jeremy Sohan is not a shooter, he's not a creator, he's just a hustler. So when you put him in the game, teams, if you notice, tend to clog the lane more, because they let Jeremy Sohan pretty much stay out there in either 3-point line or far away from the court, from the basket, and they're not scared of him shooting a 3-pointer or shooting the 2-pointer there, because they know he cannot make it. Most of the time, he's not going to make that shot. So they tend to clog the paint a little bit more and make it a little bit harder for Wembanyama to really move, and for the whole team actually to move around and slash. So it's going to be it's progress. It's a work in progress pretty much with the Spurs there in that sense, and we'll see what I find out. Not a big fan per se as a basketball player for Jeremy Sohan. I don't know how I feel about the green hair. I like it when it used to be like purple, lavender. He used to have that hair color. I don't know about the green hair. I don't know if he's trying to portray this villain persona of him, but he needs to hit 3-pointers. He needs to get better at shooting. I like his hustle. I really do. I like his hustle and I like his defense. At this point of the Spurs is they need a clogger. They need a shooter. They need more shooters than they need a clogger. And someone that's always clogging the paint there. Maybe he develops a shot later on. Maybe not. As of right now, I don't like him offensively with Wembanyama, but I do like him defensively. I mean, defensively, they could shut some people down. So maybe Mitch Johnson does something about it. Maybe he plays Jeremy Sohan at the end of the game, where, like, when it's crunch time, plays him on defense, takes him out on offense, kind of thing. Sometimes people do that. A perfect example would be like DeAndre Jordan back in the day with the Clippers. They used to put him on offense, but they took him out. Put him in defense, but then they took him out on offense because he was a liability. So that's how I feel about Sohan right now. He's more a liability on offense than really he gets out there. But we'll see what's happen. Hopefully it works out for the Spurs. Other big news in the weekend, pretty much the matchups are set for the NCAA tournament there, for the playoffs, for the college playoffs. I kind of like it. I like the style of this. One of the teams that a lot of crying is going to be done is by Alabama. I don't know how I feel about Alabama being taken out besides Clemson. Do I think they're better than Clemson? Yes. But do I think they deserve the spot there? No. Just on name alone, you can't. Which it works out for Texas, because Texas ended up again playing Clemson, which is right now the worst seed right now. So that's good for them. One team I don't think deserves the third spot is Boise State. I don't think they deserve the third ranking spot there as Boise State, because I don't think Boise State has done enough. They haven't played anybody really. The only ranked team they played, I believe, was who was it? I don't think they even rank anymore. Actually, I usually do my rankings, or I would like to see a team's ranking. If they played a ranked team, usually that's the ranked team you play after the season is over. After the season is over, who is still ranked? So if you go by their schedule, the only team that's really ranked on there, I don't know where UNLV ended up falling. If they ended up falling out of they were 20 at the time. But if that's the only team, them and Oregon, and they put up a fight against Oregon, but I think they caught Oregon when they were early in the season, when Oregon was trying to figure out with the quarterback Gabriel and everything else there to see. I think if they would have played Oregon more towards the middle of the schedule or late schedule, they would have gotten blown out. I give them that. That's their only loss. They lost 37-34 that game. I don't think they should be ranked that high. I do like the running game, of course. The running back there for Boise State's really good. We'll see what he does. I mean, if he puts up the numbers in these playoffs and things, he might be. I think what's his face from Colorado State ends up winning the Heisman Trophy anyways. I don't think it's gonna be Boise State running back. It's gonna be Hunter from Colorado, because he just plays everywhere. And let's be real. Deion Sanders is making it a priority for him to get the Heisman Trophy. He just plays him. It could be 4th and 10, and he's still going to throw the ball to Hunter. If it's a blowout, he's still going to play him. He's trying to get him as many plays and as many yards and everything else, just patting the stats left and right so that way he can get the Heisman Trophy. But it's one of those things. We'll see what happens there. The other teams there, the top 10, of course, your top 10 is going to be Oregon right now. We got Oregon, Georgia, who deserves it. Oregon, Georgia, Boise State. I don't think Boise State should be ranked that high. Arizona State should not be ranked that high. They're ranked number 4. I like them. I like the running back. I like the moxie. Even like the coach. The coach there is a very young coach. Plays very well, but I just don't think they're the 4th best team right now in college. And then after that, we got 5. Number 5 is going to be Texas. Why we leave Texas is probably better than the last 2 teams that I just said, Boise State and Arizona State. And then 6 is Penn State. 7 is going to be Notre Dame. 8, Ohio State. 9, and I'm just reading the rankings off, Tennessee. And then number 10, we got Indiana. 11, SMU. And number 12, Clemson. Do I believe Alabama has a case? Yes, I do. I think Alabama should be in there. But at the same time, also, and let's be fair, you have to... What it's looking like is you can't lose more than 2 games. That's what the community looked like it wanted. I think if Georgia would have lost against Texas, Georgia probably would have been the ones. Might have been 12, actually. They might have been 12, but they might have been getting kicked out of the playoffs here. So... the matchups are as follow. Of course, the bye games is going to be Arizona State is going to have a bye, the top 4. So Arizona, Oregon, Boise State, and Georgia are having the byes. Matchups right now as we see it, it's going to be Texas versus Clemson on the 21st. We got Tennessee and Ohio at the 21st. We got SMU and Penn State on the 21st. The only other game before that is going to be Indiana and Notre Dame. I see Notre Dame winning that game. I don't think Indiana's that good. Notre Dame seems to get it together there towards the end after that terrible loss they had. I believe it was against, who was it against? Illinois State or something like that. Texas should be Clemson. Texas is more talented. Or if not, if they can't put it together in the first half, I could see Arch Manning playing. I think Arch Manning should have played more in the second half, honestly, with the Georgia game. I think Georgia pretty much had a defense knew exactly what Texas was going to do on the screens and on those passes. And I think that Arch Manning adds another element to the game as running. Edwards is not a runner for Texas, so he's not going to do. Doesn't scare you there. So Arch Manning should have played a little bit more, I believe. But it went into overtime. It was a really good game. I can't complain about that. The next game, Tennessee, Ohio State. Ohio State should win that one. Ohio State's the more talented team. The coach there, the head coach there, he is pretty much coaching for his job. He lost again against Michigan the week prior for the 4th time, I believe, or 3rd time in a row. And you just can't do that. And those big old rivalry games, you cannot lose against your most hated rival, which is Michigan. You cannot lose again. I don't care how bad Michigan is. I think that's what makes it worse. The year before that, of course, Michigan goes on and wins the championship. But this year they were terrible, so you should have definitely beat them by double digits. But that didn't happen. He's coaching for his life. I think he beats Tennessee. The Tennessee quarterback, I like him a lot. He had a lot of hype coming in. He has a lot of talent. He just hasn't gotten it together, the freshman. And I don't think this game is going to be one of those games he gets it together. Next game is SMU versus Penn State. I don't know how I feel about Penn State. Sometimes I feel like they're overrated and they tend to beat up on the little teams. And then when they really when you need them to play to really win, they end up sucking and end up losing it and folding it. So I'm going to cheer for SMU. I believe Penn State wins this one, but they're going to lose the next one. Which, in reality, if you're looking at this, Indiana and Notre Dame is the next game. Notre Dame is kind of like Penn State. They're kind of highly overrated. But I'm still going to take Notre Dame just because they've been playing very well. And hopefully they get it together. But in all reality, the team that has it pretty much the easiest route to, if you want to say, to the championship game is probably Georgia. Because Georgia gets the bye week. They get the winner, Indiana or Notre Dame. They're going to beat that team. And then the next team is going to be SMU, Penn State. That winner plays Boise State. That's just a freaking toss-up. And let's be real. Boise State, SMU, and Penn State, those are not scary teams. So Georgia probably wins that one. So Georgia has the easiest route to the championship. and I think they get there. So it's going to be Georgia State. It's going to be Georgia, and then on the other side, Clemson, Texas. Whoever wins that one, I believe Texas wins that one. Is going to play Arizona State. Arizona State, I think, is going to get their ass kicked. Whatever team they play, I don't think they're that good. Tennessee, Ohio State is going to play Oregon. I would like to see a rematch of Ohio State versus Oregon. That's going to be a really good one. I don't know if Oregon's able to pull it off like they did the first time, because this is not going to be. It's a total different atmosphere, and it's a different. Maybe Ohio State finally puts it together there, and they played each other. And usually, when you have a rematch of another team, you kind of know a little bit more of what to expect from them. So that might be different. I could see Ohio State winning that one. So it'll be Ohio State versus Texas. I could see Texas going again, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be a trifecta. It's going to be a trilogy here. It's going to be Texas versus Georgia. And unless they do something differently this time, I think Texas still loses and Georgia ends up winning. Unless Arch Manning, for some reason, they put him in and he starts doing some Arch Manning magic, and he starts just doing some Manning magic. Georgia should win again, and should win again, and to have their second championship in 3 years. So that's going to be very disappointing. It's going to be really disappointing if Texas cannot even make it to the semifinals. And be in reality, they should be Clemson. They should be Arizona State. And Oregon, the winner between Oregon and Ohio State, that's going to be the one that's going to be a tougher game. And it's kind of more like it's more valid that you lose to one of those teams. But I don't see it. I think Texas screwed up a really good opportunity of making it to the championship by losing to Georgia. If they would have beat Georgia, they would have been in second. They would have played Georgia's schedule right now, which would have been the winner of Indiana versus Notre Dame, and then the winner of Boise State between SMU and Penn State. That is clearly the weaker bracket. That side of the bracket is weaker than the other one they're playing. On this other bracket, you're playing Ohio State, Oregon, Clemson, Arizona State, probably the weakest one out of them. But we'll see what happens. Arizona's playing with a moxie. They're playing with swagger. They might end up pulling an upset here on Texas. I don't see it talent-wise and coaching-wise, but weirder things have happened. If we all remember the Boise State versus Oklahoma game and the Sugar Bowl, I believe. That was a crazy game. But we'll see. Those are my thoughts on the college football. I think Alabama should have been in. And I think some of these teams are ranked a little bit higher than they should have, which is, to me, Arizona State and Boise State should not be ranked that high. Moving on, we're going to go to the NFL, or actually the NBA. It's NBA news we got is, actually not do NBA. I was thinking baseball. Juan Soto finally signed, a 15-year, $675 million, or 700, actually, sorry. A 15-year, which is kind of crazy. 15 years, and it was between the Mets and New York, which was the crazy part about that. You would think so. He was clearly going to stay in New York no matter what, and the Mets ended up winning that one. So they ended up winning that one, and they ended up paying more by $5 million and 1 year less on the contract, which. In reality, if I was Juan Soto, I would have done the same thing. I mean, and in baseball, it's all guaranteed. Like, that's the crazy part about baseball. Like, it's a guaranteed contract. No matter if he ends up getting hurt or doesn't play for the next 10 years, he still ends up winning. So he got a deal for 15 years for a $765 million contract. The Yankees ended up being a little cheapskate there at the end and won in 16 years for $760, which, I mean, that's just, I guess, chump change at that point. I don't want to say chump change because $5 million is a huge freaking difference. I mean, if I got $5 million right now, I would retire from my work, but I don't play baseball. But at that point, it doesn't make a big difference in reality between New York. If you really wanted, if the Yankees really wanted him, they should have taken that year off and made it a 15-year deal and made it a $770 if they really wanted him. It didn't end up working out. Ended up they wanted him to, maybe he stays loyal to the team, but I don't blame him either. Like 1 year less, $5 million more. It averages a lot way more better. So I would have taken that deal too. And he got to stay in New York anyways. He went to the Mets, and maybe if he ends up winning a championship there or taking them pretty far into the playoffs, and if he does win a championship with the Mets, he ends up becoming a legend. I mean, complete legend with the Mets. He could probably much go anywhere that in New York and get a free. Oh, unless he goes to a Yankee bar, I guess. But either way, he becomes a complete legend for the Mets, and he'll be talked about for decades on. Which makes me realize and think also, if my kid is somewhat athletic, I'm gonna have to put him in baseball. Like, baseball is soccer. Those are guaranteed contracts. You end up getting guaranteed no matter what. If you get injured, hurt, anything happening to you, and it's a lot of money. I mean, what was Patrick Mahomes' deal last time? Close to $500 million, I believe, on the deal for him, or that Prescott deal, which I hate. He's getting paid $50 million deal, because that Prescott right now is the highest paid quarterback in football. So if you look at that Prescott's number, this is 765 overall. Dak Prescott got 240. That's a lot less money. 3 times less money than actual more highest paid baseball player. So that's kind of crazy to think about. And then you do something like that, and then you look up like the highest soccer player paid. I don't know, soccer player. It is gonna be, so that's 240. It's Cristiano, of course. It's Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, and he is getting paid. Looking it up real quick. Highest paid. Oh my god! Don't ever look up anything while you're talking, because it takes freaking effing forever to load up, and then you get a bunch of this crap, which is kind of crazy. But it's a 900. You know what? $285 million. So Cristiano Ronaldo is getting paid $285 million. And that's at the age of 39, though. So that's kind of crazy. He's getting paid that much money. I don't know. This is per year, or is this? I'm looking it up real quick. Sorry, guys. Hey, you know what? I'll look it up later on. Anyways, my whole point is, if your kid's somewhere to let someone good, put him in baseball. It seems like that's the sport to play. He's not going to get hurt. There's going to be none of this CTE bullshit. Well, at least brain hurt. You know what I'm saying? At least when he gets older, maybe he gets a rotator cuff broken. He has some pain on his shoulder on baseball. Or maybe he tears a ligament when he's running. But at worst, that's the worst case scenario. But he's not going to have any head injuries. You do not want to have any head injuries. We all know what CTE does to people. Just as McNair ended up shooting himself. Oh, no, his girlfriend killed him, actually. I forgot about McNair. But I'm talking like players like Junior Seau, who ended up killing himself. And Junior Seau was a hell of a linebacker there for the San Diego Chargers. And then he went to the Patriots, and I feel bad that he didn't win the championship that year. But I hate Tom Brady so much that I don't care. I admire him, Junior Seau, saying he was a great player, and he ended up committing suicide. And a lot of people are blaming or saying that because of CTE, that's why Aaron Hernandez was killing people. But he was killing people before the NFL also. So let's not blame all on CTE on that one. But that's the thing with that baseball contract. Crazy. Again, 15 years, $765 million. And I'll guarantee. But that's what we learned on that one. And those are my takes on that baseball take on that one. Next time, we're going to move on to the NFL. Finally, we're going to move on to the NFL, the recap. I know, 24 minutes in, and we're barely talking football, at least NFL-wise. Football games that were on. It was an interesting week. I'm going to start it off with my team, the Dallas Cowboys. They found a way to fuck it up again and suck again. And like I said, if you listen to my picks earlier on the week, I did say that they had to score over 25 points if they had a chance to win this game. And of course, they only scored 20. And then the Bengals ended up scoring 27. Right now, like it's Joe Burrow. Michael Parsons said the other day Joe Burrow should be the MVP the way he's playing. But unfortunately, his team is sucking. And I don't think you can give the MVP to a player, their team that is under 500. But it was a hell of a game. I was watching all of it. I got to watch a little bit on Disney just to watch the animation for like 5 minutes. And I had to go back because I could not watch it anymore. Especially if it's your team. Like if it's your team, it's kind of hard to watch. But if it's not your team, if it's some other team, I believe last year was Jaguars versus the Falcons. It was a little glitchy. But it was pretty fun to watch. It was a Toy Story version one though. On that game, Joe Burrow, of course, played lights out. Jamar Chase played lights out. It was an incredible game. And then I was watching Hard Knocks last night. So they were already practicing the touchdown celebration. So that was good to see. They got to watch the game. They did it there. And then they were also planning the week before that. And it's just the Bengals. As long as Joe Burrow is playing, they always have a chance to win the game. And they always have a chance in the game. But the only issue that I have is they dug a hole so deep that I don't see them in any kind of way making the playoffs unless the Denver Broncos and the Chargers have a complete collapse and they lose the next 3 out of 5 games and the Bengals win all their games. That's the only way they're going to make it in the playoffs. Now, do I want to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs? Heck yes, I do. I'd rather see Joe Burrow in the playoffs than Bo Nix. For sure, that's definitely a fact there. And I think anybody that was watching football and likes to watch football, especially quarterbacking, you rather watch Joe Burrow besides Bo Nix. Unless, of course, you're a freaking Denver Bronco fan. That's a different story. Defense played a little bit better. I mean, you held the team to 20 points the whole time to that freaking block punt. But I don't know if it was just instant karma because the play before that, because I believe it was 3rd and 20. No, it wasn't 3rd and 20. It was... Yeah, no, he got sacked. He got sacked on 3rd and 20. It was 2nd and... I think it was 2nd and 12, or I believe what it was the play. And that's the play where the Cowboys went in blitz and they sacked him. But as they were sacking him, they freaking twisted his helmet. They completely... If you watch it in real life, real time, it doesn't look like a face mask because it happens so quick. But of course, when you're playing in slow motion, you can clearly see the defender grab the face mask and really twisted Joe Burrow's face mask as he's getting sacked. It was a no call. They didn't see, the refs didn't see it. And then the next play, they blitz again, and they ended up sacking Joe Burrow there. And so it ended up being a 3rd and 20, and then it ended up being even longer. It was 4th and 27. They punt it. It gets blocked. But if you don't know the rules about the NFL, and I've seen this, and I've seen it in a video where they're saying they're conspiring and the NFL's rigged because the Bengals ended up getting the ball, but they didn't get the whole 27 yards to get the first down. That's how you don't know shit jack about football. I can really tell you right away you don't know that. But to get the rules clear on this one, when you kick the ball and you're punting it away and it gets blocked, once it passes the line of scrimmage, the receiving team, they can touch it, they can grab it, but if they muffle it, it becomes like a live punt pretty much. It becomes like a live punt, like a regular punt once it passes the line of scrimmage. So in a regular punt, if you punt it and the receiver catches it but fumbles it, it becomes a live ball and the other team can recover it and the defense can recover it, or the kicking team can recover it and they'll get it back, and then the offense will get the ball back. That's exactly what happened on this one. The ball got blocked, yes, but it passed the line of scrimmage. Once it became in the line of scrimmage, if you touch it, if any player on the receiving touches it, it becomes a live ball, and that's what ended up happening. That's why the Bengals ended up getting a first down there. They did not require them to get the whole 27 yards. So if that's a better clarification, if you haven't heard about it, that's how that rule works. Of course, the Bengals got it. At that point, that was the straw that broke the camel's back on the Cowboys. I expected Joe Burrow to score in that one. I was thinking they were going to drive it and get it down to like 4 seconds and kick a field goal to win the game, but it ended up being a Jamar Chase and totally Durant Blam totally freaking whiff on that tackle. And Jamar Chase is a lot faster than a lot of people think, and he ended up scoring the touchdown, which is cool. As a Cowboys fan right now, you want them to be competitive, but you want them to lose every game from now on. You're not going to get nowhere. You're not going to make it to the playoffs. Let's be real. Like I said before, 2 weeks ago and last week, they were just reeling you in. Do not let them reel in, make you believe that something's going to happen this year. Nothing's going to happen. You're not going to do anything. Now with Cooper Rush, we know who Cooper Rush is. Cooper Rush is a good backup that could get you in a 3-game skid. On a 3-game, if your quarterback gets hurt, he could get you 3 good games. You could keep it competitively, and you could probably maybe win 2 out of those 3 games. After that, he's not a starter, which kind of pisses me off in a sense that they should really figure out what's going on with Trey Lance. What do they have with Trey Lance? Do they actually have a quarterback or something they could do something there and actually mold them into the quarterback they need to? Or just cut him and find yourself another younger quarterback, a cheaper younger quarterback that you can actually be your project quarterback. And that's what the NFL has always been. That's how I have always thought of it as the GM, is you should have a starter, a decent backup, which Cooper Rush is a decent backup. And your third string quarterback should be a project quarterback. Should be a quarterback that, damn, that guy has a fucking arm on him, but he sucks at making football decisions. Or, damn, that quarterback is really athletic, the third string quarterback, but at this point in his career, he cannot read defenses and he cannot figure it out. And that's why he becomes a project. You mold him, you try to figure out what's going on with him. Because it's a cheaper route of eventually your starter gets hurt, you can put him in. Because at this point, it looks like what the quarterback is really going to, and the teams that are going to, is the quarterback is going to be the most expensive player on the team. Once they get that max contract, it's going to be very hard to surround them with talent. Dak Prescott's a perfect example for it. The only other talent he has around him is CeeDee Lamb. The offensive line is horrendous right now. And I told you guys that Zach Martin, something was wrong with him. He was hurt. I've never seen Zach Martin just get bulldozed in the line of scrimmage and not be able to block on passing downs. He just got destroyed in a few games. Well, one of them was destroyed, which was really weird because McNeil on the Detroit Lions defensive line, he's good, but he's not that damn good to just make Zach Martin look like a damn rook. And that's what's happening. And it came out now that he had season-ending ankle surgery. So I figures he was playing with an injury the whole year. So he only has CeeDee Lamb. He has no line. And he has no running backs. Cowboys kind of stumble on Rico Dow just out of necessity. He's been playing, and he's been playing better. He had a career day yesterday. I believe he had over 133 yards, which is kind of cool to have that. But let's be real, you were not counting on him to do that. And just to really keep building on that and stop signing Ezekiel Elliott and signing these has-been running backs. Dalvin Cook, come on. And Deuce Vaughn, I love Deuce Vaughn. I cheer for Deuce Vaughn, but he is no Darren Sproles. So it's time to let him go. So in other words, my whole point of that is that once you sign the quarterback to a big contract, the talent kind of doing this away. And that's what's going to end up happening with the 49ers, I think. If they end up signing Brock Purdy to a max deal, that team is in the downward right now. Yes, they beat on the brakes out of freaking the Bears this past weekend, but let's be real, the Bears are in a free fall right now. They just fired their coach. They've been losing games in crazy ass ways. It just was gonna happen. So let's not put too much on that game, and let's not put too much on the 49ers. They're not back, and they're not gonna be back anytime soon. They're probably gonna get their ass kicked this Thursday against playing the Rams. But then again, it's a divisional game. It's a Thursday game, so it might be competitive. Those divisional games are really weird. And moving on to the Rams, and I'm already done with the Cowboys kind of thing. Moving on with the Rams. Rams really put up a fight there. They really put up points, and it was kind of crazy to watch. I personally picked the Bills because the Bills were in a hot streak, and they were just destroying people left and right. But that goes to show you how deadly the Rams are on offense. with Matthew Stafford, Puka Nakua, and Cooper Kupp, and then that running back, what's his name? Williams, I believe. They have a running game, and their passing game is just tremendous. When Matthew Stafford gets time, it don't matter even if Puka Nakua is cover or Cooper Kupp is cover. He's going to be able to throw it where only the receiver can catch it, and they're going to catch it. And look at the Rams now. The Rams are 6-6. I don't know if they have enough. There's enough time in the season to catch up to Seattle and win the division, but they're for sure in the playoff conversation. And if they get into the playoffs, they're a very scary team to play. I personally, if there was another team out there, I wouldn't like to get in a freaking shootout with them. Of course, this game also showed us that Josh Allen is the man, and he is the MVP. This game showed that he is the MVP. I think he scored the most of any quarterback in fantasy football, which fantasy football don't matter at the end of the day because it matters about winning games. But he really put them on their back, the whole team on his back, and he almost brought him back and almost won the game, made it very competitive. That's what I got out of that game. Josh Allen is the MVP, and I think he's the favorite now. If you're betting on him, I think he's plus 500 on winning it, or minus 500. No, plus 500. He's the favorite on winning that. But like I said, Matthew Stafford, that offense, they could put up numbers. That was kind of a surprising game to me in that sense. The other one, there was, well, not too surprising. I wanted the Chargers to win, and I picked the Chargers to win, but Kansas City is the devil, apparently. Apparently, Patrick Mahomes is the devil, because they come out with the craziest way to win. I don't know if they're sandbagging it this whole time, and he decides, like, oh, you know what? I'm not only going to win the game by a field goal, we're going to doink it and win a field goal, and win it by the field goal. It's a crazy-ass shit. But this game came down to who had the ball last. And Kansas City had the ball last, and we know when it matters the most, and that's what makes legends, it makes heroes, it makes Hall of Famers, is when it matters the most you produce, and that was Patrick Mahomes. And he had two Patrick Mahomesy plays in that game, if that's what you want to call it. On the one where he threw it to, I'll take that back. Only one was a little Patrick Mahomesy. And that was the one where he jumped and threw it down the middle. And the rookie wide receiver from Texas was able to come back for the ball and catch it. And I believe it was a third down on that one, from what I remember. The other play was more of just Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes playing for so long together. They pretty much can read each other's minds, kind of ordeal, and they know where to go and what to do. On that play, it seemed like it's not confirmed. They haven't confirmed it yet. I haven't seen Patrick Mahomes say anything, Travis Kelce say anything about that. But I think Travis Kelce was supposed to go to the end zone, like on a corner route, go to the corner of the end zone. But he ended up just stopping and making himself open. And Patrick Mahomes found him really quick before Patrick Mahomes crossed the scrimmage line. And he ended up catching it, and they ended up winning the game because of that. But at the same time, Chargers put up really good 2 scores there on the third quarter. Justin Herbert looked really good. And, of course, they were missing J.K. Dobbins with that injury, and they were missing their best receiver, McConkey, which also a rookie. They were missing those 2 guys. So for them to go, I don't know if it's much to say about that, though. I don't know if going to battle against Kansas City, almost beating them, really is something nowadays. Because, I mean, the Oakland Raiders did the same shit last week, but are we going to say the Oakland Raiders are a really good team? No, we're not going to say that. And then it's an incredible stat that I saw the other day too, is that Patrick Mahomes is by far the best quarterback when they're losing going into the fourth quarter, and he ends up winning the game. He has the best winning percentage. Second best winning percentage, my boy Tony Romo. But that was kind of a crazy stat to watch, to look at. The other game that was fun to watch, but it was fun to watch because I don't like Aaron Rodgers, was the Miami Dolphins Jets game. And the way they lost that one, that was also incredible. They just lost it just in a dumb way in overtime. Pretty much the Jets had control of the whole game the whole time, and somehow they were able to screw it up. and the Dolphins ended up winning. Tua played a terrible game there, but when it counted the most, he actually would put it together and ended up winning the game, which is kind of crazy to think about. Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if he's just done at this point, but he seems to be losing it lately, more than ever. In a sense, they had him on the Pac McPhee, which I don't like. It was brought up to me, by the way. I don't not watch the Pac McPhee because I don't think he's a good. I mean, he just gets a little wild there on game day, college game day in the mornings, and then his show, the Pac McPhee show, is not not that great for me because I don't like the vibe of him just wearing a wife beater the whole time and standing up. Like, I don't know what are you trying to show there? Like, are you trying to show that sitting down is for weaklings? I don't know. I just don't like the feel. I don't like any of that stuff. No, but it was brought up to me, and I saw the video where Aaron Rodgers was saying that the football IQ has gone down over the years. That players have gone faster, stronger, but the football IQ has gone down, and that's why you don't see offenses score as many points, or that's why, I guess at that point I'm like, is he making an excuse for his offense sucking, or for him sucking, that he's just so smart, he's such a brilliant mind, Mr. Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he even got a degree, such a brilliant mind of his, that he's so smart that the other players are so dumb that he's doing the right thing and he's doing the smart thing, but the other players on his team are doing such dumb things that that's why they can't win. Like, I don't get that. I don't understand that. His Netflix documentary's coming out. It looked fucking stupid as shit to me. It looked like just him trying to be smarter than everybody else. Thinks he's smarter than anybody else, but in reality, he just comes out as a douche, a dumbass, and I'm not going to watch it per se. I think my partner, because he also hates Aaron Rodgers, is going to watch it. My paramedic partner is going to watch that. I don't know what to say about him, about that documentary, other than it's probably effing stupid, and I don't like him at all. I don't like him as a person, and I definitely don't like him as a quarterback right now. He's just sucking and making an excuse and pretty much throwing his whole team under the bus on this one. Other notable games, Minnesota looks good again. Sam Darnold, I think, should be in the run for MVP. He's just playing on a different level right now. And the more he plays, the better he plays, the more that contract is going to be unaffordable for the Vikings. Do the Vikings move away from him? Because they ended up drafting J.J. McCarthy from Michigan last year. Of course, he's hurt. J.J. McCarthy's hurt. He was out for the season. That's why Sam Darnold pretty much had no competition at quarterback. I don't know. Or do you end up signing Sam Darnold for a pretty hefty price? My opinion, I think the Giants overpay for Sam Darnold because they're desperate for a quarterback, and they end up getting snake bitten by Sam Darnold because he's not going to have the same kind of team around him and the same coaching, and Sam Darnold is going to go back to sucking, and the Giants are going to be in another pickle again of paying a quarterback that sucks. Pittsburgh Steelers ended up getting the revenge on Cleveland. It was a pretty good game by Russell Wilson, even though he didn't have his number one player, wide receiver, and there. But I'm still not a believer. He didn't have George Pickens, a wide receiver. I'm still not a believer in the Pittsburgh. Their defense is really championship contender, but I just do not see the quarterback in the offense. I think when they play a team they can score a lot of points, it's not gonna happen. Or they play a really good defense like the Kansas City Chiefs, or Bills, and the Bills can put numbers on you. I just don't think they have the firepower to keep up with them. That was the other game that was really notable. There was really not other notable games. I mean, Jacksonville and Tennessee, that was a snoozer, 10-6. You might as well be watching a baseball game. Seattle Seahawks, Arizona Cardinals. Looks like Seattle finally got the reins and definitely got control of the NFC West there. Kyler Murray looks like he's just not good anymore. He got picked off back-to-back in that game. it's just one of those games where you maybe Kyler Murray's in the Arizona Cardinals kind of like Cinderella story. He's finally turning into a pumpkin, and just like everybody predicted that Arizona was going to finish last in that division and be one of the worst teams, maybe that's coming to truth now. But that was that one. Not gonna talk too much about San Francisco and Chicago. Chicago's just on a free fall, and San Francisco is not back, and they're not gonna be at any time back. And the other notable game, I guess, will be Panthers in Philadelphia. And I only bring up this game for the simple reason that it's a feel-good start for Bryce Young. It really is. You don't want to cheer for somebody to fall like that. You don't want to cheer or clap or be happy that he's failing. I'm happy to see him succeed. I'm hoping that because of his stature and his size, he doesn't get hurt and maybe plays better. But he's playing a lot more confident, a lot better. And the team has been looking a lot better. And I could actually see them beating the Cowboys next week. That's how well he ends up playing. He played a very competitive, like I thought he would. I thought the Panthers would play really competitive there in the first half, and they did. And they ended up only losing by 6 points. And it just, if only. And there was a lot of lucky plays on that game too. I mean, Bryce Young really looked good. He threw a really good pass there to the rookie wide receiver Xavier Legette, I believe that's his name, for the go-to head touchdown with 44 seconds left. That was really nice. But he just dropped it. And that, you just see it. You just see the drop. Like, it was a pretty throw. Got there. It was going to go to go-ahead touchdown with 44 seconds. And then, bam, you just drop it. So it's kind of one of those things that they just got really lucky there. The Eagles. And I felt like the Eagles were going to be sleepwalking in this game. And they kind of woke up a little bit in the second half, but now woken up to almost losing the game. That brings a lot of, one of the big talking points this week have been, what is wrong with the Eagles passing game? They haven't been looking as crisp, as good. I think it is something to worry about, but not too much, because you still got Saquon Barkley and you still got that offensive line. As long as you got that line and that kind of running back, you're going to be in pretty good situations. And if that's the case, maybe they should do more play action passes, I guess. That's what I would do with Jalen Hurts. Make it a lot easier for him with the play action pass. You're running the ball so well and you're playing so well and running the game, running the ball, that defenses are going to move up. The linebackers and safeties are going to move up. And when you do that play action, we all know they kind of almost bite a little bit on it, and the receivers get a lot more open. I'm not too worried about it. Jalen Hurts is, we're talking about a team that went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago with Miles Sanders as their main running back. You got Saquon Barkley, who is a better player so he's going to be able to put up more points in the running game. Now, Jalen Hurts, I don't know what people want from him, in a sense of talking about how bad this passing attack is. If my quarterback's throwing 21 passes and completing 40 of them for 108 yards and 2 touchdowns, and you win the game, that's good enough for me. I don't want to see my quarterback throw for more than 40 passes. Once he starts throwing for 40, 50 passes, that means you were down by a lot, or that means that nothing was going right, and you're just throwing the ball just left and right, just trying to make something happen. Hopefully he gets better for Eagles fans, because that seems like before this game, a lot of people will consider, they were even almost thinking that they should be better. They should be ranked higher than the Detroit Lions. But that didn't happen. Which brings me to the Thursday night game. That was a really good game by the Lions and Packers. But the Packers they're a young team. They're a very young team. Jordan Love looked terrible in the first half. He had a terrible half. I think it was 3 for 7 in the first half. He's not playing up to the contract. He's not playing up to being the second highest paid player. He's actually kind of, like I said before, he's regressing. He keeps regressing. But he played well enough to almost win the game. And that is really good. Last year, for them to make it to the playoffs, that was the chair. And then beat the Cowboys. And not just beat them, beat the living snot out of the Cowboys. And almost beat the 49ers, that was a cherry on top of that team of that year. This year, if they make it to the NFC Championship game, that's also going to be the cherry on the top. This team is another year away from really being a really, really good team, a really good contender. We'll see if they can actually get a number one wide receiver. I think they're missing a really good wide receiver, number one. They have the running back in Jacobs. They have the quarterback. The quarterback could get them there, but they're just missing that deep threat, that receiver that puts the fear into the defense, that makes the defense think twice of loading up the box to stop the run. We'll see what happens with them, but it's not bad losing to the Lions, and you were competitive too, so the Lions did what they needed to do and win the game. I still think they're the best team in the NFC right now, and that game, if anything, showed that the Packers are right there. They're the cups of being there with the Eagles. If I was to rank them right now in the NFC, it'll be Lions, it'll be Eagles, and then it'll be probably Packers. That's how good the Packers play that game. The defense has played beyond expectations, and the running game is really well, and that all translates to winning in the playoffs. In the playoffs, you need a really good defense and a good running game. That's just, if you look at pretty much every single Super Bowl winning team, they have always had a good running attack, but most importantly, they had a really good defense. They've always been top 10 defense, and the Packers are playing like top 10 defense, and their running game is top 2. That's why I wouldn't worry too much about the Eagles either, because their running back is really good and their running attack is really good, and their defense is just playing on another level also. They're playing very well. They're getting it together finally. Jalen Carter, the defensive tackle, is playing like what everybody expected him to play when he coming out of Georgia. When he coming out of Georgia, I thought he was probably the best player on that draft. At least best defensive player. Unfortunately, he had some kind of character issues and he fell down. And I hate that he fell to the Eagles. I really wanted the Cowboys to pick him up. But that's just the way sometimes the cookie crumbles. I mean, nobody expected Michael Parsons to be the player that he is today. And it fell to the Cowboys. But I regress. Great week of football. This Thursday night game should be a really good game. Because it's a division game. With division games, you don't know what happens. I still taking the Rams either way. I think the Rams, if they end up getting hot right now, very scary team in the NFC, and they're getting there. Other than that, that's about it. Friday, we'll do our NFL picks for Week 15. We'll talk a little bit more Spurs because they finally played. They've got like a little bye week kind of style. They play again Friday. We'll watch that game. I'll end up watching that game. And then, of course, I believe this weekend is Army versus Navy. I'll be wearing my Navy uniform. Not my Navy uniform. My Navy sweats. I'll be wearing a Navy sweat top or a Navy shirt. I'm not going to be wearing my uniform because that'd just be ridiculous. But I'll be cheering for Navy. It's a divided household here at the Sanchez house. My father-in-law is Army. I'm Navy. So we'll be a little bit talking here and there. Other than that, you guys have a great week, great weekend. And thank you for listening.